I have the opportunity now to talk a little bit about how this ties in and begin to wrap it as we get close to the end of our 2-day underground. But I want to do that by starting to ask you a few questions. How many of you sit on the board of a credit union? Some of us are here as volunteers, and others are here as executives and also do that. How many of you sit on the board of a CUSO? Several of you. And how many of you currently are partnering with fintechs? How many, after the last couple of days, have at least heard of or met somebody else that you'd like to partner with? Yeah, several, great. And how many are going to revisit their credit and risk-based pricing and look at their models when they get back? Yeah, several. And how many have met somebody new here at the Underground that they hope to keep in touch with? All right, a lot of hands went up there. And how many of you are fired up to make something happen? So now I want to talk about, and Harold kind of opened this conversation, but I want to talk about and challenge all of you to think inside the box. And the reason that I'm putting that challenge out there is this. We get so often caught up in what's happening in the outside world, what's happening around us, competing with our neighbors, competing with different people, that we forget about what's really important and maybe neglect our priorities. And so I want to challenge us to think inside and really look and have an opportunity to really look inside and be the best that we can be. And I wrote down a few quotes from different people today that I think are pretty outstanding. Aaron Mendez challenged us on mission share and then thus would get our fair share. Todd Clark was talking about mind share and wallet share and taking that to the next level. Samantha Paxson also said your P&L really should be centered around the member, not just the product profitability. Brian Cass said that innovation really is a muscle that we need to develop. Selfa Salceda, first of all, you said that you were intimidated by people in the room. I feel like we should be intimidated by you. So excellent job. And she said, if you want to treat people equally, then we need to treat people differently and be as customized as we can in our offerings. Harold then talked about storybook lending, and Scott LaSalle said there's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to lending. So my challenge to you with thinking inside the box is 4 steps. The first is to assess, and the first step to change is to be aware of your own bullshit. Right? Is to look inside and say, what is it that we're doing? What are the barriers to success? What are those things where we're getting in our own way? And wanting to make sure that we get an outside perspective, that we are actually getting a realistic assessment of what's happening in the organization in order to set a benchmark. The second step is to revisit your external value proposition, returning to what really is your core. Returning to what really is important as an institution. Because when we really differentiate as credit unions, are we going to be the best in the fanciest technology as fintechs? No. Can we partner with them? Yes. Are we going to have the best rates? No. We just really aren't. Even when we talk in strategic planning, it's hard to beat 0% financing at Ford. At the end of the day, right? But what can we be the best at? And that's our core mission in that relationship with our members. Step 3 in thinking inside the box is to do a review or define your internal value proposition and what it is and who you are as a leader, and keep your word as a boss. We've been talking DEI initiatives. We've been talking youth, capturing the youth for so long at this point that what are we doing about it? How are we actually executing on those initiatives? And how can we create efficiencies? And the final, number 4, is to elevate the bullpen, the second team, the closers. You can't win a championship this year by thinking about next year's roster. Now, we need to partner with the future. But without today, there is no future. And we often overlook the people that are there every day with you. Do they even want to be there? Do they even want to be there working with you? And how are we taking care of the humans that are within our organizations that, oh, by the way, are going to execute on all these visionary ideas that we come back with, right? So I urge all of us to make sure we're taking away that we're really thinking about the people that are going to make this happen and how they can truly make a difference in the lives of our members and communities. So we want to think inside the box.